Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can use Laravel Sanctum in order to authenticate users via the API. I will also show you how you can reset user passwords as well. So let's get started. Laravel Sanctum allows us to generate tokens for users' account. We can also give these tokens some abilities or scopes for authorization, but that is out of the scope of this video. What we do in general is create a token and we add it to the header of requests initiated from our front end. The first thing we need to do is create a Laravel app and install the package. To install the package, we run the following command: composer require laravel/sanctum. Next, we can publish the configuration and migration files using the vendor publish command. Then we can use PHP artisan migrate to run all the migrations. Since we are going to authenticate our users in a single page application, we need to make sure that one middleware is being used inside our kernel.php. So inside the kernel.php, let's add this middleware called ensure frontend requests are stateful. Now next we need to generate tokens. In order to generate a token, let's go to our users model, and inside let's use the trait that is provided by Laravel Sanctum called hasAPI token. Now that we have used this trait, we can generate tokens for our users. Let's create an auth controller, and inside I'm going to add the logic for registration and login method. So what I have added inside the register method is that I'm validating the request first, then I'm creating the user and generating a token. And then I'm sending back the token as a response. Now inside the login method, I'm also validating the request first, and then I'm searching for the user then. Then I'm checking if the password entered from the front end is correct or not. If the password is correct, then I'm generating a token and sending back as a response. Don't get confused if you are not sure how I'm sending back the response. What I've done is created two macros, a success and error macro inside the app service provider, and then I'm using that back inside the methods as a response. You can also use traits for this, but I prefer this way. Apart from register and login methods, I've also created a logout method. Basically inside this, I'm just getting all the tokens of the authenticated user and deleting them all. So now that we have added our logic inside register, login and logout method, we need to create routes for these. For that, let's go into our api.php, and inside I've created 3 routes for these methods. I've also created a route which will require us to be authenticated in order to access it so that we can test out our token. So now that we have created our APIs, now let's test them. And for that, I'm going to use Postman. Inside Postman, I've created a collection with the request for each of the route. First, let's try our register route. We are going to enter the form data inside and then hit the submit button. You can see we are getting back the token as a response. Now let's try with the login route. So I'm just going to use the credentials for the user we have just created. Hit send, and you can see that we are getting back the response and the token as well. So now let's check out if our token is valid or not. For that, I just created the route/user, which requires us to be authenticated. So now let's hit that route and see if it works. And you can see that we are getting back the user details which we are getting from the server. So that means our token is correct. So our basic authentication is done. Now let's move forward and see how we can reset our user's password. In order to do password resets, we are going to use the table which comes by default with Laravel, password resets. Inside, I've just created a primary key. Next, I've created the model for this table, and inside I have set the updated add to null. I've also created 2 form requests for forgot password and reset password. Next, I've created 2 routes for forgot password and resetting the password. For resetting the password, we are going to send an email to this user email address. So for that, I'm just going to use mail trap. I've added my credential in the environment file, and don't worry about that, I will reset them after this video. And finally, inside our controller, I have created two methods. So let me explain what I have added inside these two methods. The first method is going to be used when we are sending an email to this user. So inside, I'm just getting the user first and checking if it exists or not based on the email. And then I'm creating a 4-digit code or token, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm storing it inside the database. Also, there can be only one reset request from each user at a time. So I'm just using this condition here. The condition is really simple. If the user has already requested for resetting password, then we are just going to update the record in the database. Otherwise, we are creating a new one. And then we are just sending the user a notification, an email that will be sent to the user, which includes the token. The other method is reset password. And inside, first we are validating, and then we are checking if the user exists for this email or not. If the user exists in the system, and then we are checking if there is entry for password reset in the database or not. For example, let's say user has already resetted his password, and then he again tries to do this with the same code. So in that case, we won't allow that. So we are using the condition to check this, if there is any entry in the database or not. Next thing we are doing is we are updating the password. We are deleting all the previous tokens since the password has been updated, so the previous token should not be validated. And then we are creating a new token and sending back as a response. I also forgot to add one thing here. Once we have updated the password, we need to remove the entry of password reset from the database as well. So now let's try this inside our Postman. First, we need to run our migration again because we have changed inside the reset password table. So I'm just going to use PHP artisan migrate fresh. Now let's go into the Postman and create a new user. So now that our user is created, let's go and log in first. It's working. Now let's go to forward password. A code has been sent to my email address. So if I go to mail trap, you can see I've just received an email notification. So inside I have the code. Let's copy this one. Go back to Postman. Inside the reset method, and I'm just going to update the token. So now let's change the password. Hit send. Now you can see that our token has been generated, a new token has been generated, and our password has been reset successfully. Now if I go back to login and try to log in with the old password, you can see I'm getting back the error message. Let's correct the password. Hit send, and it's working. So this is how you can reset a user's password. Of course, this is a basic way to get it done. You can use signed URL. You can also redirect the user via the link, but that's all up to you, how you want to achieve things. So I hope you have liked the content of this video. If it was helpful, kindly give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Thank you for watching.